Hello and welcome to SVTV. We're delighted to be back here at TaZza Coffee to record our latest show.
And what a great show we've got lined up for you. Coming up, we hear from Sutton Council's Art Engagement Co-ordinator about the Sutton Cultural Awards. And we'll also be speaking to a previous winner of these awards about why you might hear a bit more of the spoken word in Sutton's libraries. But first, could the next Freddie Flintoff or Ian Botham be playing cricket in our borough? We talk to Sutton's Cricket Club on plans for the future and an exciting new partnership with Sutton Voice.
So Dan, first team Captain Marvel, you've come on to Sutton Voice TV today to give us an exclusive announcement about Sutton Cricket Club and Sutton Voice. Now, we've been dying to hear all about it this morning. What is it?
So Sutton have recently just joined up with Sutton Voice, which is a great opportunity for Sutton Cricket Club to work in partnership throughout this upcoming season.
And what does this partnership mean for the club?
It's going to raise the profile for Sutton Cricket Club, hopefully broaden the reach and hopefully bring in new members into the area playing cricket again in a local area.
Now, Kelvin, you're Sutton Cricket Club's overseas player for the season. How did it all come about from Adelaide to Sutton?
At the end of cricket season last year, I knew I wanted to come over and play some cricket in England during the winter. And I was lucky enough to get an email from the Sutton Cricket Club asking if I wanted to play. I didn't know much about cricket over here, but knew it was close to London and liked the opportunity. And ever since I've been over here, they've been so welcoming and very helpful and made moving over here a whole lot easier than what I thought it was going to be.
How have you settled in and what are your hopes for the future?
It was 30 degrees at home the day I left, and I came here, chucked on about 5 different layers and tried to warm up, but found that very hard. But other than that, it's been really good. And I'm just looking forward to finishing off the season well. And my experience over here, I'm looking forward to learn a lot of independence, being on my own, that kind of thing. And I'm looking forward to just maturing as a person as well as playing some good cricket.
And this is a question for both of you really. Do you think there's a future Freddie Flintoff or Ian Botham in the Sutton Cricket Club junior ranks?
Fingers crossed. The Colts junior section at the Cricket Club is really bright at the moment. I know last year the Sutton under-15s made it to national finals day and got to the semi-final, which is great for the future of the club, and hopefully they'll be moving into playing a lot of adult cricket at the moment. We run Monday, Tuesdays up until Sundays for junior sections at the club with some fantastic cricket coaches there, so hopefully the club are in good hands for the foreseeable future.
I look up to the era of the Matthew Hayden, Justin Lang, Glenn McGrath and Gilchrist, that kind of area, and it looks like we've got quite a few young players, and I'd like to think they'd look up to Glenn McGrath and all those kind of people rather than the Freddie Flintoffs of the world personally. But no, there's quite a good young group at the moment at Sutton Cricket Club, and I think the cricket club's looking forward to the future.
Guys, thank you so much for coming in to join us today. Now let's meet our next guests, Joanna Steele and Rachel Sambrooks.
Welcome, Joanna and Rachel. Now, Joanna, until recently I didn't know anything about the Sutton Cultural Awards. Is this a problem that you're having to deal with frequently, and what do people need to know about the awards?
So they started in 2012 from the Cultural Olympiad, and they've been going for a number of years, and we're increasingly raising awareness, and the way that people nominate the winners is through our website, which is www.sutton.gov.uk/cultural awards. We've basically had about triple the amount of nominations compared to 2 years ago, so awareness is increasing, but it's really down to the community to nominate people who've increased cultural activities for them, reduced access to culture, and been innovative and led really different cultural activities in the borough. So the awards basically to recognise individuals or organisations who increase arts and culture in Sutton, and they're recognised for that with an award which is given at the ceremony, which has just happened a couple of weeks ago, and it's a fantastic event and it's always well deserved, and we had I think we had 8 winners and 9 individuals. And it's just a great way to recognise the achievements of people in the borough.
And Rachel, you've won one of these awards, haven't you? And you've been doing a lot of work, in particular placed in art on the libraries and the spoken word in libraries. What's that all about? Shouldn't we be quiet in libraries?
Well, Another word for spoken word would be live literature. So I actually called the event Words Aloud, being that we're using words, we're using literature in a different way. And the library is not just about books anymore, it is like a kind of central cultural place to go. They have lots of things there that they do for the community as well. So it seems like a really natural fit to have spoken word go into libraries. I kind of begged them to let me go in and have a go, and I started up a writers group there as well. And then Words Aloud's gone from strength to strength. We had 40 at the last event, which was kind of double or like triple the amount of people that were actually in the library, so we're kind of bringing loads more people in. The other thing about it, for Words Aloud, I've had some funding from a small grant from Arts Network Sutton, which has enabled me to do some proper marketing, so get in some flyers and spread the word, and also it's enabled me to get in some guests, so guest poets from all across London have come down to visit, which is a really kind of great experience to have, especially because it's a free event as well. You wouldn't get that anywhere else. And the other thing that's happened is that Arts Council England funded me to do a show about grandmothers, and they were very keen on getting more spoken words and literature into libraries. So I think we really need to push arts in libraries and make it that kind of vibrant place that the community wants to go to.
Spoken word in libraries is something you're both really passionate about, but Joanna, you're really keen to get people dancing in Sutton, aren't you?
Well, one of the most poignant events that I've done is dance for people with dementia, and I think it's that combination of music and dance, so it brings them back to another place. But equally, you've got young people who maybe have obesity issues or aren't very active because the school doesn't have time to put on PE activities or extracurricular activities. And when you get the child to actually be more active, then it spreads through to the family and the family become more active. So dance, walks, anything that basically gets people out and about and not aware of what they're doing. So people can be active through dance and not feel like they're actually working out, they're just enjoying the moment that they're dancing. So I think it's great for all ages and a fantastic way to keep healthy.
And did I read it right that a big dance bus is going to be coming to Sutton High Street in July?
Yeah, it's a route master, and we're working with the regeneration team to activate this end of the High Street. And it's going to come onto the High Street. There's a big DJ booth inside of it, and a 10 by 10 metre dance mat. And it's coming on the 9th of July from 12 till 5, it's Saturday. And we have a combination of community dancers as well as professional dancers for the whole day, hopefully in the sunshine. And one of the most amazing moments I had 2 years ago, and this is actually the last year it's happening, is this old lady had a walking stick and she was dancing around the mats to Surrey Jive. And Surrey Jive said, "Why don't you come, join us?" And she actually threw away her stick. And this is an old lady, 90 years old, and everyone was crying. It was just a magic, magic moment. And that's what it is. It's just a great occasion for everyone to come together, and the age, it just spreads across from 2, 3 to 90, 100 years old.
And as a freelance writer and performer and comic and poet, Rachel, you do so much in Sutton. But what do you think about the art scene in general in the borough? Is it in a good place?
I think so, but I think it's evolving actually. I moved here from Birmingham about kind of 3-4 years ago, and since then I've noticed a difference. It's really quite a grassroots change. So there's lots of people wanting to do more. There are places like the Brook that have got activities that are going on that are quite fringe really, and quite a lot more like London than you'd expect for around here. And I don't know why that is, because we are really close to London. We are in London, but it does seem to be quite quiet for cultural activities. So there is definitely more to be done. I mean, what we really need is audiences. That's such an important thing. People to go along, people to just even talk about stuff going on. So if they've seen something, they tell their friends. If you've got an interest and you want to see something on, just kind of contacting people like Arts Network Sutton and saying, is there somewhere that I can do, I don't know, knitting and jazz, anything like that that's kind of slightly different, that's not being done. Just get the whole kind of area a lot more vibrant, and then it just makes it happen then.
And Joanna, would you echo these comments?
Yeah, I'd say from a strategic level, arts is now on the agenda for health, regeneration, libraries, heritage, and all of those departments across the council realise that culture and arts make the place worth living. That's what makes people want to live in a borough, and Sutton is recognising that now, and there is change happening.
Joanna, Rachel, thank you for coming on to SVTV. Now let's go and track down Bob Law, who's going to be talking about all things TaZza Coffee.
Bob, thank you so much for letting us record our latest episode of SVTV here at TaZza Coffee. Now, for people who, perhaps like us, didn't know much about TaZza Coffee before and the history, can you tell us a bit more about it?
We opened in December the 12th, 5 years ago, and we celebrated our first birthday, obviously our 5th birthday in December. We are owned by church. Not many people know that because we don't make a big song and dance about it. But the church owns this building. They've got the church office on the top floor, and the vision and the idea behind TaZza was to be a bridge into the community.
Is this what makes TaZza so much more than just a coffee shop in Sutton?
I believe so. We are all about community. We're all about building relationships. We want to know our customers. I know the majority of my regular customers, I know their names and I know their drinks. They feel valued as they walk in here because I pour their drinks for them as they walk in. They're not allowed to change their mind's mind. You know, that's what they get. They're not allowed. But over the years, we've been building relationships with members of this community. That was part of the vision. We didn't build relationships with people we thought we would do, but actually the people we now connect with is far greater than we'd ever imagined. We have Sutton Carers Centre around the corner. For our 5th birthday, I decided to celebrate the fact and dressed as a dame for the day. I did say that I would only do it if we raised £200. I raised over £500. That's how much my customers want to see me make a complete fool of myself. We did a cake sale for St Raphael's. We raised over £800 for St Raph's. We raised money by a raffle for Children's Trust. We're all about community. Since then, we have got connections with Uplift, which is promoting health and well-being in Sutton. They meet here every Tuesday. It's a drop-in. People come and go as they feel. They want to be part of TaZza. They like what we're doing. We also have the Circle of Friends. They meet here every Wednesday. And there's a support group for people in the community that need help and guidance and encouragement. Again, that's happened by default. We didn't look for it, it just happened. We also, because we're about community, we run marriage courses here to help people to enrich their marriages. We run alpha courses here. The other thing we also do, which not many people know about, is that as this is a church office, on our first floor we are a CAP centre, which is Christians Against Poverty. Christians Against Poverty are there to help people who are in debt crisis. They help people out of debt crisis. We run money management courses. People come along and just work out ways to budget. And we also run a job club every 3 months.
Okay, so is the vision that you started with the same as it is today, or has it had to evolve over time?
It's naturally evolved. When we started, we didn't have a reputation. People didn't know who we were. We had an idea, we wanted to go down that path, and we tried to make connections with people. It didn't seem to work because we had no credibility. But now, people are seeing what we do, they understand our vision and our purpose, and want to get involved. The local police and councillors in Sutton have all said that since we've opened, TaZza has brought a different dynamic and energy to this end of the high street. Now that's got to be positive. That wasn't deliberate, that's just happened. One of the things we wanted to do though was to rename this area outside TaZza as TaZza Square. That's our vision. We want people to think, oh, I'll meet you at TaZza Square. I mean, it's silly, but it just raises our profile. We are about community. We're about building key relationships. One thing that I'm really surprised about is that our regular customers, they come in, we know them, they know us. If they don't come in, we're concerned about them. So we'll actually ring up and make sure they're okay, because we're concerned about their welfare and well-being. I don't care. We're about building community. We're not necessarily focused on making a profit. Profit is secondary. Relationships is primary.
From your point of view, Bob, do you think community organisations such as TaZza play a big part in saving the high street?
Undoubtedly. undoubtedly. I think too often coffee shops and other organisations are about making a profit. That's great. You need to make money to exist, but community is the core. That is the core of how we develop. And I think you've got to develop community. And I'm very proud of the fact that we have got an amazing reputation in this high street. People love what we're trying to do. They like my shirts, they like my staff. It's fun.
Well, I definitely have shirt envy. I wish I could pull off something as cool as that. Thank you for being our guest, and a huge thank you to all our guests here on another episode of SVTV. We hope you enjoyed it.
Keep up to date with all the latest news, views and opinions at suttonvoice.co.uk.
You can also like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.